Biological systems keep us fit and healthy. If we're not careful to take good care of them, they too will wane in their power to defend us. And that's actually how we wind up getting sick. Whatever we put in our body is either going to build our health or take it down. Our body has 5 powerful defense systems: angiogenesis, stem cells, the gut microbiome, DNA, and our immune system. Welcome back to the Pod Digest. In this video, Dr. William Li talks about the 5 powerful defense systems in our body and how we can use food to build our health. Watch until the end to get all the insights. And please don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. First, let's talk about one of the most basic units in the human body, DNA. Our DNA is hardwired to protect itself against damage from the environment like ultraviolet radiation, radiation from any chemicals or solvents we might inhale, oxidative or emotional stress. When our genetic code has mutations, it tends to cause problems in our body. Most people don't know this, but DNA fixes these mutations silently, so we are not bothered by them on average. Getting 1 or 2 sunburns at the beach is not a big deal, but when you do that repeatedly, you overwhelm the defense systems, and that's when these mutations can accumulate. So when people read about antioxidant foods helping to repair, what they're really talking about is adding foods into your body that can assist our DNA from warding off damage. Antioxidants specifically form a shield to neutralize the incoming missiles from these activated, reactive chemicals that can damage our DNA. So how can we avoid this DNA damage? Food has the ability to repair cellular damage. One of them is kiwi. Kiwis are packed with vitamins and antioxidants. Eating just 1 kiwi a day can actually protect you. It will help your DNA build itself back up and repair it. Building back the damaged DNA is like patching a pothole in the road so that other cars don't have a problem. Food versus drugs. The body has normal circulation to feed healthy tissues, which is called angiogenesis. Blood vessels network is the vehicle that carries oxygen, nutrients, and everything else that our cells need to survive. Cancers can sometimes hijack that blood supply. So one of the new ways to treat cancer is actually to give a drug that can intercept a cancer's ability to recruit a private blood supply. That is called starving a cancer. By cutting off its blood supply, it cannot grow. Dr. William helped develop the systems that developed these drugs. There have been over a dozen drugs that have been approved by health authorities to be able to achieve this in colon, brain, and lung cancer. Some foods might have equal benefits, if not more benefits, than a drug. Next, let's talk about the health defense systems. When we have the right amount of health, all of our organs are functioning properly. But we may need a few extra blood vessels in certain cases. For example, if you're working out and trying to build muscles. The angiogenesis system can supply and help to grow more of those blood vessels, but keep it in proper volume at the same time. However, what happens when you have a disease and when you don't have enough blood vessels? After a heart attack, if you cannot grow enough blood vessels, parts of your heart gets weaker and can lead to heart failure. A heart attack can actually be even fatal if you don't have adequate blood vessels to try to bypass any temporary blockage. Similarly, in the case of a stroke, sometimes a clot gets sent to the brain. The angiogenesis defense system is scrambled to be able to immediately generate tiny little bypass muscles to get around that blockage to save the brain. If you can't get enough blood vessels growing in that situation, parts of the brain die, and one may wind up being paralyzed or having deficits after a stroke. In diabetes, many people lose their legs or have them amputated, mostly because they have problems healing wounds on their feet. The reason is their nerves become numb. The nerves die because of inadequate blood vessels feeding those nerves. When nerves die, you can't feel when you step on a pebble and you create a little hole. That hole gets infected. So now the wound cannot heal because it doesn't have enough blood vessels. This is an example of inadequate angiogenesis. There are now medical treatments designed to try to stimulate more blood vessels where they're needed. And foods can also help do this. On the flip side, when you have too many blood vessels, is when cancer comes into play. Some microscopic cancers are able to hijack our body's regular angiogenesis defense. While studying angiogenesis, it was discovered that once a bloodless cancer is able to get vessels to touch it, the cancer can grow 16,000 times in 2 weeks. Angiogenesis out of control is a trigger for tumor growth. Now that we know by cutting off the blood supply, we can actually keep cancers harmless for long periods. So this is what foods are also able to do. Foods that inhibit angiogenesis won't stop the good blood vessels from growing because good blood vessels are solidly locked into your body. The defense system ensures we are not going to get rid of the good blood vessels. Now, we may be thinking, what's the relationship between inflammation and angiogenesis? Inflammation and blood vessel growth go hand in hand. A lot of people misunderstand that and want to get rid of inflammation. The ability of your body to be able to mount small amounts of inflammation when needed for a short period of time and then to go away is life-saving. The dangerous thing is for the inflammation to keep growing without turning back down. That's chronic inflammation. For example, when we go camping, we set up a tent and build a campfire for the nights. The campfire is like inflammation. It gives warmth that serves its purpose. And when it's time to go to bed, we either let it burn down and make sure that it's all walled off. But if it doesn't, it can spill out and start a bigger fire around, causing things to go out of control. Diseases with chronic inflammation like lupus, rheumatoid arthritis, diabetes, have this chronic inflammatory state that starts to provoke all kinds of other problems. Food as medicine research is different from pharmaceutical research. Pharmaceutical research has no other variables other than administering the drug. Foods cannot be studied in that manner. You can't give somebody only green tea to drink for months. Foods don't work like drugs. A drug can squash a headache in a few minutes. But since food leverages our body's own defense systems, the benefits take time. The studies could take months or years to fully appreciate just how beneficial that food is. Let's talk about 4 food items that we include in our everyday diets and understand how they help build health. Black tea versus green tea. There was a study done in Italy for tea. Green is filled with antioxidants and polyphenols. It has a polyphenol called catechins that helps lower your stress, fight cancer, and is anti-inflammatory. On the other hand, black tea can actually call out stem cells from your bone marrow to increase their levels in your circulation. When your stem cells come out of hiding and start circulating in your blood, they circulate in your body looking for organs to repair. Wherever you need a little bit of renewal or regeneration, the stem cells will fix it invisibly. So black tea can help spark that repair and regenerative process. When we add milk or creamer to tea, the fat molecules in the dairy milk form microscopic soap bubbles called micelles. These bubbles trap the polyphenols from tea. The trapped polyphenol doesn't get absorbed as easily in your stomach, and it just rolls down your guts. However, nut milks are fine because they don't actually have the same fatty reaction that dairy has. Oils. Oils cause a lot of confusion. There are 2 things to be mindful of. 1, there are healthier oils, but we should all limit the amount of oil that we intake. 2, don't reuse your oil. Most oils are reused for deep frying. Deep frying changes the natural chemicals that make up oil in the oil itself. When you eat a deep fried dish in a restaurant, you have no idea how many times they reuse their oil. Olive oil is one of the beneficial oils. The extra virgin olive oil contains not just fat, but polymonounsaturated fatty acids, which are better for your body and less damaging for your cardiovascular health. There's a lot of polyphenols that come from the olive itself. If you're going to cook with olive oil, always go for extra virgin because of that reason. Tomatoes. Moving on to tomato, it contains lycopene, which is a powerful antioxidant, can help starve cancers by cutting off the blood supply. It can slow the shortening of telomeres to slow cellular aging, and they can protect our DNA from even sunlight and ultraviolet exposure. We may get 20% lycopene if you chop a tomato and eat it raw. Heat changes the chemical structure of lycopene to a form that the body readily absorbs. Lycopene is fat soluble, so a little bit of olive oil for sautéing tomatoes is good. Black pepper and turmeric. Turmeric is a kind of a root and mainly used in South Asian cuisine. It has curcumin. Curcumin is anti-inflammatory, antioxidant. It cuts off the blood supply feeding cancers, activates almost all of your body's health defenses, and is good for the gut microbiome. Our body actually doesn't absorb it well, and a lot of it gets flushed. If you have fresh, cracked black pepper with your turmeric, that allows more absorption of the curcumin. Next, are supplements actually needed? Dietary supplements can be really important, particularly for people who have difficulty getting a lot of nutrients. There are some dietary supplements that are absolutely valuable. Pregnant mums really need to be taking folate. If you don't, there can be neural tube defects in your babies. Supplements were originally designed to help the body top off with what it actually needs. Omega-3 fatty acids are a great supplement. Vitamin D3 for those of us who live in the northern hemisphere. Vitamin D is made by our skin when sunlight actually hits it. If you take white button mushroom, slice it thin, and lay it in the sun, the slice will make more vitamin D. Another common debate these days is organic versus non-organic foods. A horticulturalist had a study published in Nature, a premier scientific journal. They studied strawberries and a natural substance in it called ellagic acid, which makes strawberries tart. They compared organic versus conventionally grown strawberries. With pesticides or not with or no pesticides, the organic strawberries had 2 times or more of the ellagic acid. So an organically grown fruit would actually have more of the beneficial substance. Let's take a carrot. There are phytonutrients and beneficial compounds within that carrot. We peel off the skin that has the beneficial properties to clean it and get rid of pesticides. When you spray pesticides for fruits and foods with very thin layers, if there's pesticides in that area, it's very hard to scrub them off. This would be a good reason to buy organic. A food safety expert at the US Department of Agriculture had claimed that to wash a regular bowl of produce, it's recommended to rinse under cold running water for 60 seconds, whether inorganic or not. You're supposed to rinse off an onion before you actually cut it. The sugars that you get from fruits and vegetables are completely fine. The body is able to take care of that. The concept of added sugar is what's bad. There are a lot of other foods that we have to be careful about, like the artificial sweeteners used in diet sodas actually harm our gut microbiome. The order in which the ingredients appear on a nutrition label is synonymous with their relative concentration in the food products. If you are not able to pronounce, understand, or identify the ingredients on a product, that is probably not something you want to put in your body. Other foods that we might want to be careful about are processed meats. They are classed as a carcinogen by the World Health Organization. By maintaining healthy biological systems through mindful eating and lifestyle choices, we can enhance our body's natural defenses, promote resilience, and reduce the risk of diseases like cancer. Embracing a diet rich in whole, plant-based foods, supplemented when necessary, and being informed about food quality can empower individuals to take control of their health and support their body's natural ability to heal and thrive. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Your help means a lot to us. It keeps us motivated and helps us keep going.